Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, I want you to picture something. A city, literally built on water, that ran a global empire for 1,000 years. Today, we are diving into the one building that was the absolute heart of all that power, the incredible Doge's Palace in Venice.
So let me just ask you this. What single building could possibly serve as the command center for a worldwide maritime empire for hundreds and hundreds of years? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today, the one and only Doge's Palace. And you can't let the beautiful exterior fool you. This was never just some fancy palace. For more than 1,000 years, this building was the engine room of the Venetian Republic. I mean, every big decision, every declaration of war, every single trade deal that built that global empire, it all started right inside these walls.
Okay, so let's get into what this place actually was. The Doge's Palace, or Palazzo Ducale, as they say in Italian, had this really important dual role. On one hand, it was the home of the Doge. He was the elected leader of Venice. But it was also the seat of government, the main courthouse, the whole administrative hub. It was kind of like the White House, the Supreme Court, and Capitol Hill all rolled into one absolutely spectacular package.
Now, to really understand this palace, we've got to jump in our time machine and look back at its long and pretty dramatic history. This building didn't just pop up overnight, It was shaped and reshaped over centuries.
So the building we see today, it wasn't built all at once, not even close. The main part of it goes all the way back to the 14th century. It was a huge, bold statement about the Republic's growing power. Then, in the 15th century, it got a major Gothic upgrade under Doge Francesco Foscari. But its history wasn't exactly smooth sailing. The palace went through some devastating fires, even got damaged by earthquakes. But here's the crazy part. Every single time, the Venetians rebuilt it, even grander than before.
All right, let's kind of step outside for a second and just look at the architecture. Because this is where the entire story of Venice is literally written in stone and marble.
This mix of styles is what makes the palace and really all of Venice so incredibly unique. You can literally see the city's history as a bridge between the East and the West right here in the building itself. You've got these pointed arches and super delicate patterns that are a total nod to the Byzantine and Islamic worlds, who were Venice's biggest trading partners. But then, that sense of harmony and just the massive scale, that's pure Italian Renaissance. It's like a conversation between cultures, carved right into the stone.
Okay, let's head inside. Because if you think the outside is impressive, whoa, the interior is where the real business of running an empire went down. This is where laws were hammered out, sentences were delivered, and the fate of entire nations was decided. This gives us a little peek into the absolute nerve center of the Republic. Just try to imagine the Grand Council chamber, a room so huge it could hold the entire Venetian aristocracy while they debated the future of their empire. Then contrast that with the much smaller, way more secretive council chamber. That's where the Doge and his inner circle would make those really critical hush-hush decisions. And then there's the treasury, just a jaw-dropping display of all the wealth that was pouring into Venice from every corner of the known world. Beyond all the amazing art and deep history, the sheer size of the Doge's Palace it's breathtaking. To really get a sense of how dominant this place was, let's just break it down by the numbers for a second. First up, we're talking about an estimated 1,000 rooms. Yep, you heard that right. That is not a typo. 1,000 rooms. Everything from those huge government halls to the Doge's own private apartments. Can you just imagine the maze of hallways and hidden chambers in there? Next, let's talk height. The palace is about 25 meters, or 82 feet tall. Now, I know that might not sound like a modern skyscraper, but for its time, it was a massive, elegant giant that just completely dominated the Venetian waterfront. And finally, let's look at its footprint. The entire complex covers more than 5 hectares. That's about 12.4 acres. It's just an immense, sprawling center of power that's as much a part of the landscape as the canals are. So really, when you get down to it, the Doge's Palace is so much more than a museum. It's a living monument to the power, the ambition, and the totally unique genius of the Venetian Republic. Every single stone has a story to tell. And hey, if you ever get the chance to walk through these halls yourself, you have to get the full story. Seriously, take a guided tour. They'll show you secrets hiding in plain sight. Make sure you see the Doge's private apartments to get a feel for the human side of all that power. And whatever you do, do not miss the treasury. That's where you can see with your own eyes what Venice's global reach actually looked like.
So let's end with this thought. The Doge's palace isn't just a silent witness to history. It's practically a character in the story of Venice. It saw the rise of a great republic, and it watched over its slow, eventual decline. Which kind of leaves us with one last question, right? If these walls could actually talk, what secrets of a fallen empire would they finally tell us?